welcome to Redvee TV, supported by A-Star Recruitment for the 2022 season, as we continue our player previews ahead of the new campaign. And with 24 days to go, it's the turn of only one man.
Our number 24, Dan Norman.
And there he is, resplendent in a hat. We can't tell whether it's a bobble. We'll have to measure his head to find out.
Yeah, he's 6'5", so are you thinking that he's got a big head? Are you thinking that you should be shopping with Dan Norman for bobble hats?
Well, I think there's a bit of a conspiracy. There's a conspiracy going on here, Kev, because they cut the top of the hat off, so we're not allowed to know whether he's wearing a bobble or not.
Very good. Very good.
Dan Norman, he signed for the club from the London Broncos, December 2020. He only made 2 appearances in the 2021 season. I think there was a lot of clamour during the year was get him on the bench, get him appearances. But Christian Wolff stuck with the tried and tested. He's in on a 2-year deal. Is this a year where he needs to make more of a breakthrough into that first team if he's going to be continuing at the club in 2023?
I think that's what he's going to be looking at, isn't he? As you say, with Christian Wolff stuck with kind of the lads who'd been there and done it and didn't bring Dan in, who for us is a bit of an unknown quantity still. We know he's a big lad at 6'5". He's 24 years of age now, and he's probably looking that. I know props can tend to kind of flourish more as they get older, as they get more experience. But he's going to want to be putting a marker down in training and get onto at least the interchange bench in the first couple of weeks of the season. And
it's not to say because he didn't make many appearances last season that's not what's going to happen this year. Obviously, when Joe Batchelor came, didn't play much first year. He's broke through into the first team and has now been rewarded with the number 12. So there is a pathway there, and players will be rewarded for performances. And you just get the impression that at 24, both in age and in squad number, he needs to be making inroads. He should be competing against the likes of Kyle Amor for that final bench spot.
Yeah, and that's, as I say, that's what he should be looking at. It's not like he hasn't played some decent amount of rugby as well. He's been over at North Wales Crusaders, he's been over at Widnes, he's been down at London, as you say. He had a couple of short stints over at Salford last year, and I spoke to a couple of Salford fans on Twitter and said, how was he going? And he said he was running great lines. So it's something that he's going to turn around. And you know what, we've spoke about it in the past couple of days with some of the younger lads. If he needs to kind of get up to speed, whether it's reserves or whether he goes out on loan for a month to kind of get them minutes into his system, if he's not being thought of in the first couple of weeks of the season, then that's what he should go for. He should go and try and play rugby and prove why he should be in the match day 17. I think it's a big ask for him to get in there, because we have got the likes of Alex Walmsley and Matty Lees and Louis and Kyle Amor who have been there and kind of must be putting their hands up in training and going, we are your first choices. I've not even put Iggy Parsi in there, but they're putting their hands up and going, we are first choice. Dan Norman, I'm absolutely convinced will be doing exactly the same.
If he isn't making the 17 this season, do we need to be looking to get him out on loan as much as possible? Obviously, he went out to Salford last season for a couple of times when Richard Marshall was there. Obviously, with League being relegated, there's one less local Northwest team where you can potentially farm players out to for 1 or 2 weeks in the Super League. So is it maybe a case of, if needed, do we try and utilise the likes of Lee a little bit more in the Championship to get players game time? And I think that goes for all the squad, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think you're potentially right. I think we've got to look after reserve grade rugby as well. But yeah, there's no kind of substitute for the match day sharpness. They can train and train and train, and we've seen it in the past where players have trained and been great, but just kind of been that level below because they're not used to the match day sharpness. They're not used to kind of the intensity, that step up. So listen, whatever the opportunities are for Dan Norman to play a decent standard of rugby next year, if it then benefits the squad, I think we should be looking at taking them. He should be looking at taking them. As I say, though, I'm sure that he's going to want to be turning around going, match day 17, that is my aim.
Indeed. Dan Norman then, number 24, proudly sponsored by LWC for the 2022 season. The largest wholesaler provider of wines and spirits and the drinks provider for the club, Kevin.
Yes, very good. I'll have to have a little look on the website, see what they do, eh?
Where are they based, Kev?
Based in Mighty Witness. Got to have something good in the town, haven't they?
They've got you. That's enough.
Well, yeah, true. That is true.
Right then, that's Dan Norman done. We'll be back tomorrow with our number 23, and he's a big one, but he's shrinking. And he can't get a hat on his head either. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and we'll catch you tomorrow for another episode of Redvee TV.